Hi, I am Dana Morales, and I am here to share my truth journey with you. So, in 2008, as many of you all have heard, in June of 2008, I decided to go natural, and it was mainly because I had breakage in my hair and I was not happy with the answers that I was being given at the time. So, I started doing research on the internet, and based on some of the things I was reading, I said, wait, is this all I have to do is just stop putting the chemicals in my hair and start really just changing everything I had been taught or that I had learned up to this point about my hair. It was completely wrong. And so it was really just changing my mindset, changing how I did things. And it was hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it was probably harder then than it is now, mainly because now there's a lot more people out there that are doing it. There's more support groups, there's more information out there now. But when I first went through the process, there wasn't a lot out there. It was a fairly new thing that was happening. So I had a lot of family members that thought I was crazy, as I've mentioned before, and they didn't mean any harm in it, but they kept questioning me and asking, why are you doing this, and are you sure you want to do this, and can't you figure out something else to do? And that just really, for me, it empowered me to continue down the journey. And there were rough days, but I really just was focused on, no, I'm fixing to do this, and I'm going to prove to them that I know what I'm doing, that I'm really striving to succeed at this. And so in April of 2009, I had been transitioning, and so when you transition, you have two different textures of hair, and it can get a little hairy. A lot of people transition with braids or wigs or things of that nature, and I was not doing that. So I was ready. I said, I've done this long enough. I really just want to see my hair. I'm going to save you all the details on that. But basically, in April of 2009, I decided to cut all of my permed ends off and just have my 100% natural hair. And so I did that, and I will insert some photos at the end that will show you how I looked when I finally did that BC, or the big chop as it's called. So that was in 2008. Well, after that happened, pretty much the big focus of my life had stopped. Like it was pretty much over. I mean, I still had time where I still needed to learn more things about my hair, but the big challenge of getting all the chemicals out was gone. And so I said to myself, I said, okay, there's kind of a letdown here, because what am I going to focus on now? I focused for 9 months on going natural and focused on my hair and doing all that. Well, now what am I going to do? So I said, okay, one night I was sitting and watching TV, and I, at the time, was a really big Biggest Loser fan. I was really focused on that, and I would watch it sitting on the couch, eating my chips, and, like half of America, eating my pizza or whatever, and watching it and cheering the people on. And one night I really just sat and I said, why can't I do that? In this particular episode that really changed for me or made me decide what my next item was when they did the marathon. And I can't remember what season it was, whatever season it was, of course, 2009, the 2009 spring season, and they were running a marathon. And the lady at the time, there was a woman on there that was running the marathon, and really all of them, and they were larger than me at the time. And I said, if they can do that at that size, I can do this at my size. And I was not small by any means, but, I looked at it and I said, if they can do that, I should be able to do that. I have no excuse. So I decided at that point that I was going to run the half marathon the following year. So at the time this happened, it was in April, and every April, the last weekend in April, is our local marathon. It's the Country Music City Marathon. So I said, hey, I'm going to do this next year. I'm going to do this. And so for the next year, that became my focus. Now, I must admit, for the first probably 6 to 8 months, I really wasn't as focused as I should have been. I was out, I was walking, I did the couch to 5K, I did all of those things, but I did not have laser focus at that time. I really didn't know what that really was. So in January of that year, December, sometime around that time, it had to be December, one of my coworkers, and he was at the time, I guess, obesely overweight, and he had decided, I was connected with him on Facebook, and he had decided that he was going to do the resolution run. And here in Tennessee, that is where on the first day of the year, you go out and you run a 5K. That's just what it's called, resolution run. So I said, you know what, if he can do this, I can do this. I mean, it was kind of like using somebody as my support, somebody as kind of like my push, right? To make the determination that I was going to run that race. I had never run a 5K in my life. The last time I had run, I think I was probably 7. So I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So that gave me kind of that drive in my head that you better get out there and start doing something, because you got this run on the 1st. So on the 1st, it was 20 degrees outside, and I tell you the truth, I wanted to just curl up in my bed and go back to sleep. But I said, no. He said he was going to do this. I've committed to doing it. I'm going to do it. Well, I get there, and he didn't show up. Was devastated. I said, oh my gosh, where is he? And of course, you have that little moment where you say, okay, I'm going home. I'm not going to do it. But I said, no, you're here. You're physically here. You have your number. You're here. Now, I was scared to death. I didn't know anybody out there. I was scared to death. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. You're here. God is here. You can do this. Just focus. You'll finish. There's ambulance here. People are here if you fall out. Just do it. So I ran my first 5K, and that's 3 miles. And I remember praying the whole time. I was breathing hard. I was calling on Jesus. I mean, it was probably comical to anybody else watching it, but it was a struggle. But I felt so empowered when I finished that race, because not only were there people there cheering you on, but I knew I had done it by myself. And I knew that by myself with God, of course, but I knew that I am my biggest cheerleader, and I am my biggest enemy as well, because if I had let myself talk myself out of doing it, I would not have gotten that rush at the end that I could do it. So, I finished that race, and a couple of weeks later, I went ahead and signed up for our zoo run, which was basically a path through our local zoo. So that February, I joined a group, my alumni group from my university, Go Vols. I joined that alumni group run, and the instructions said you had to have been able to run complete 4 miles, because that's where they're starting. It starts at 4 miles. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot run 4 miles. But I contacted the coordinator, and he said, don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll, walk you through it, and we'll get you through. So I come out, and it's all people who are younger than me. And I'm just like, oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. Well, I started doing that, and they met every week. They had instructions of what you had to do to train, and the purpose of this group was to train for the marathon. So I said, okay, I've got to do something, because if I don't, I'll never be ready. So I started doing that. I learned what my pace was. I learned what worked for me. Each week we added a mile, so I was seeing progress. And I ran my first marathon in 2010, April of 2010. And you'll see a photo at the end of me celebrating crossing the finish line. And I tell you, it was such just an exciting feeling I'm about to tear up right now just thinking about it, but just crossing that finish line and knowing that I did that myself. Nobody ran with me. I mean, although we had the group, that was running the race, they went at their own pace. So really throughout pretty much the entire race, I was by myself. And it gave me time to just think. It gave me time to thank God for just being able to do it. I was very thankful I had gone natural, because I was sweating and I was pouring water on my head. And if I had been, my hair was still perm, that would not have worked. So I was just so overjoyed when I crossed that finish line. I was tired, but I was overjoyed. So that was April of 2010. I lost so much weight in this process and was not even trying. That was not my focus. My focus was completing the marathon. But through all of that, I lost a ton of weight, and I was not even trying it. So when I leave for this cruise, several of the people I was going with all noticed, and they said, you have lost so much weight. You look so good. And I was like, I look good. Okay. And I was so excited about that. But that, again, was not my focus. So on the cruise, mind you, again, I've accomplished that second journey, right? I've gotten through that. And so it was time to pick something else. And I'm on the cruise. I'm sitting there, and I see this couple dancing in the dance club on the ship, and they were dancing salsa. And if you have never seen salsa dance by two people who just truly are enjoying themselves, it is beautiful. And I said, that is the sexiest dance I have ever seen in my life, and I want to learn how to do that. And I just watched them the entire time. They probably thought I had issues, but that's neither here nor there. But I decided at that moment, when I get back, I'm going to find a class so that I can learn how to salsa dance. And that's what I did. So we got back. I immediately found a class. It was free, because you all know I like to save money. So it was free. And shout out to Amy and Julian at the Coleman Center. And I joined their class and learned how to dance. And it wasn't hard. I said, this is really not hard. It's exercise, and I love the dance. So we had a group of people who we came every week, and we learned, we danced together and all that. And many of them talked about going to this other place to dance at night. And I said, well, where is this place? What is this? It was on Thursday nights. Okay, during the week, I'm not going out during the week. It was on Thursday night. So I said, okay, I'm going to go see what it is. Get past the fear, just go. They had classes on Thursday nights and on Sunday nights. And so I started going to that. So mind you, I'm now learning how to salsa dance and do a dance called rueda, which is salsa dancing in a circle. So I learned actually several new dances, but learned how to dance, was meeting new people, and met my husband. So during one of the classes at Ibiza, which was the club that we were dancing with at the time, there was a gentleman that when we danced in the circle, I was like, if I'm going to dance with you, I got to know your name. So we introduced ourselves, and every week we were doing this. So I met my husband, was exercising, probably I would say 4 hours a week of hard, heavy dancing, because anybody who has gone to a salsa class knows that you don't go in trying to be cute. You sweat, right? It is high impact, fast dancing, and you enjoy it. It doesn't feel like exercise. You just feel like you're just having fun. So that's what I did. So I continued to lose weight, met my future husband, and so that journey of salsa dancing, learning salsa dancing, was pretty much over, and just immediately kind of merged into the new journey, which I didn't even realize I was on at the time, because I thought I was still kind of on that salsa dancing journey. But the new journey was actually dating my husband. And my husband is Hispanic, and that was something that I did not see in my life. I did not see me in an interracial marriage or interracial dating. Not that I was against it. I just, if you had asked me what my husband was going to look like, I had the picture of what my husband was going to look like. But what I asked for from God was, I want a good man. I want a godly man. I want a man who puts God first and also honors me as well. You know, there were just several little things, and they weren't really specific. Race had nothing to do with it. But in my head, in my picture, I had a specific picture of a person. And so anyway, met my husband, and poor thing, I really fought it. I was like, you know, he's my dance partner. For months, I called him my dance partner. He's my dance partner. He's the dance partner. And finally, my brother was like, would you quit calling him your dance partner? Because he's obviously more than that. And I had to face the facts. I said, you know what? I really do care for this guy, and I'm having a great time, and I just need to quit fighting it and just do what I'm going to do. So, you know, I went with it, and we ended up getting engaged. And in December of 2011, we got married in 2012. And then my next journey started, which was having my daughter. And she was born in 2013. So as you can see, it just slowly progressed. And if you had asked me back in 2008, 2009, I would have told you I really want to be married, because I thought I was going to be married at 35. And I'm like, wow, you know, my life is not going the way that I want it to go. And did I force marriage? No. But because I focused on me and focused on my journey at the time, I got out of my own way and I allowed things to just happen. And so I encourage you, you know, to really just get out of your own way. Think about the things that you truly want to do, you truly want to accomplish, and strive towards that, and everything else will just start to fall into place. I promise you, your life will just all of a sudden, you will just become the happier you, and you'll wonder how you did anything differently. So I'm sorry that this video is so long, but I hope that you have been encouraged by my story, and that you will begin your journey with us, and it takes as long as it takes, right? But we'll be here with you to help you through your journey. So I will talk to you soon. First of all, before you leave, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you get all of our weekly challenges and videos, as well as join our THB Change Center Community Facebook group. That is where we are joining and communing together about our journeys and talking about things in relation to our particular journeys and getting that support. If you would like more details about my individual journeys, or how I went natural, or how I trained for the marathon, or anything like that, please let me know. You can comment in our Facebook group, which is our preferred method of communication, or you can comment on this video, and I will be glad to get back with you. All right, I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.